Something for yourself. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Who wants this? We're gonna do a giveaway. One of you is gonna be the lucky winner. You get some New York grass with it too. Well, I woke up this morning. You can see my eye is something is wrong. I noticed just a little bit yesterday when I was looking in the mirror, like brushing my teeth and stuff. I noticed this eye wasn't as open as the other eye, but I didn't have any other feeling and I just ignored it. And then when I woke up this morning, there was all this crusty, stuff around my eye here, and obviously it's swollen up. So I'm going over to the urgent care. Yeah, I'm thinking like I haven't poked myself in the eye. I didn't get anything in my eye that I can think of, I was under the car the other day doing the oil change, but I had my DeWalt safety goggles on, so my eyes were fully covered. Excuse me. What are you doing? Huh? Yabba dabba dabba dabba. Okay, we just came from I went to urgent care, which is just right up the road here. He said, I'm the fourth person this morning to come in with this same symptoms. He explained it all to me, and I'm like, so is it from like getting dirt in my eye, or what is it? He said, no, it's, you get something on your hands and then you touch your eye, and I'm like, oh, that old thing again, don't touch your face. And so they gave me some ointment that I have to put in my eye every 6 hours. And he said, if it doesn't start improving in 48 hours, he also gave me some oral antibiotics that I can take at that point. But he said, don't take the oral until you've used the ointment for 48 hours. And you should see an improvement. See kind of some of the ointment little spooge stuff around there. So it's funny, what struck me is I'll be 60 years old here in a handful of months, and I've never had this before. So it's like, it's just interesting to me that after 60 years I can get something new that I've never had before. But I'm not super concerned about it. And so I'm taking this guy over to the park, and we're going to do some walking just to unwind a little bit. That is a big fish. Well, it's like a carp, right? I think it's huge for this little pond. Crazy. So much background noise out here today. We'll see how we do. So you saw me fiddling around with this goofball vehicle right here. This was the last item that came from Temu. It took 7 weeks to get here. That's why it didn't make the video. One of the downsides of ordering things that come from way over yonder is they can take a long time to get here. And thank you all of you that had a good laugh with that video that Dalen and I made from Temu. We had a lot of fun making that. Every time I watch it, I laugh. It was a great day. I was on the fence about doing a video about that site for a long time, and I was talking to Dalen about it a while back before I agreed to do it with them, and she said, Dad, the people that watch your videos, they know it's just a goof, that we're just goofing around. And so that helped me to decide, and plus it basically paid for the brake job on the truck, which Thank you, Temu. I had fun ripping it around. It's obviously big. It's too big for us to carry with us. I want to give it to one of you that has, you know, some land that you can rip this thing around and have some fun. And please, whoever gets it, when you charge it, make sure you're right in front of it. Don't leave it plugged into its little charger like overnight and forget about it, please. So I will give this to one of you. So what should we use for a keyword? I don't want to use Temu. This is the speed storm. Let's use the word storm. So down in the comments, put the word storm, S-T-O-R-M, and that'll get you entered to win this. Now we're gonna do a fast one here because we're getting ready to leave. So we're gonna do the drawing. I don't know what today's day is. Hold on one second. Okay, so today is the 25th. So yeah, are we even gonna get out of New York in July? I don't know. Been taking my time getting this packed up and doing the last few things that I needed to do and trying not to get myself stressed out over it, you know, not worth it. So let's do this. We're going to do the drawing on the 30th, on July 30th. So put the word storm, S-T-O-R-M, in your comment of this video. Come back here. I'll do the drawing on the 30th. I'll post the video on the 31st of July. And if you're the winner, I'll get your address info. Continental US only. Please make sure that just because of shipping reasons. Come back here on the 31st, watch the video, and see if you were the winner of the Storm RC truck. This is a 1/10 scale. Everything works. It's got good steering, suspension, everything. So if you want the Storm, get yourself entered. Look how big this thing is. So since I've got the truck pretty cleaned out right now, I thought it would be a good opportunity to take you all around the rig, inside and out, and get a look at all the stuff. You know, I've talked recently about the long road it was to get from an ambulance, you know, when I first bought this thing, to where we are today and what it took for me to get there and all of the stuff. When I talk about, like, I can't even remember some of the work. There's been so much stuff that I've done to this vehicle that a lot of it has just been lost in the shuffle. So this will be a good opportunity for me to refresh my memory on all the stuff that I've done and show all of you, if you're interested, you can see what it looks like to have a vehicle that I can live in comfortably. So let's take a look at it and see what we got. Okay, I'm not gonna get in your seat, don't worry about it. Or am I already in your seat? So we'll start up here in the cab. So cosmetically, what I did up here, this bulkhead wall, you know, I added some of this vinyl flooring. This is going back like 5 years. Are you getting pillow stuck? There you go. Sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, this has been up here for about 5 years, just to give it a little different look. These speakers I added, this truck from the factory, it has door speakers, and they're very difficult to hear. The reason I put these up here is because when I'm driving, I like to listen to talk radio, podcasts, things like that. And I wanted the sound to be up by my ears, and I didn't want it like pointing at him, which the door speakers would have done. And I don't know that I would have been able to hear them very well. So I'm able to keep the volume not super high because I have these right up here at ear level. This here, the headliner, this I replaced. This is going back a few years. The original headliner was peeling really bad along this front edge, like the foam material. The material was coming away from the foam backing. And we tried gluing it. Dalen and I tried gluing it once, and then the heat and everything, it just started to fall again. So I took this out. This is like a, I'm gonna call it cardboard, but it's not cardboard. It's stronger than that. Backing that's up here. So we had to remove these trim panels. We removed this trim panel up here to pop this headliner out. And this material I ordered, it was from Amazon, just a piece of bulk material. And it's, what do you call this? It's not fleece, but you know what I mean. It's like, it's cushiony. And we used headliner spray adhesive. It's a specific spray adhesive that's for headliners. You know, it gets pretty hot, and imagine even on the underside of this from the metal roof getting the sun on it, and I'm sure that some normal spray adhesives won't hold. It took more than one can. There's a video I did on that. It was a pretty involved project. First, getting the old material off of the board, I used a wire brush that stripped it off perfectly, and then spraying the, I think, 3 different coats of the spray adhesive before applying this material and then trimming it down. It's beautiful. It's held absolutely perfect. Okay, what else did we do up here? Oh, the carpeting. So this carpeting, I replaced the original carpeting. There are carpet sets that are available for this vehicle. So they're pre-cut to fit in this truck. Wasn't super expensive. This is like a blue color. I'm sure you can see that. It's like a bluish gray. And, oh yeah, this is something that Mom just knitted for Lefty. So this is where the carpet set comes to. And then this here is the original carpeting. It just went to like right there, and then there was a second piece of the original carpeting that was in here. So replace this. I put some temperature, like sound deadener kind of material. It was actually for reducing the temperature. I put some of that on the floor underneath this to help keep the heat down. You know it can get warm in here because the engine is right on the other side of this doghouse right here. So if you're doing any carpet replacement, anything like that, I'd recommend putting down some of that sound deadener, heat deadener material. I can't remember the name of it. I think it had cool in the name. Speaking of doghouse, so when I got the rig here, there was a big wooden console kind of thing that it was all the way back to here. It was pretty ugly. It did not look very professional. It had, you know, the radio systems mounted in it here, and then it had a big switch panel that was mounted right up here with a bunch of the ambulance switches in it. So obviously I got rid of that. And this I was able to buy. This was used. It was off of eBay, you know, from a salvage company. This is a Ford part, and Ford made several different styles of these cup holder kind of things, and they attach right onto the doghouse. The doghouse has a couple of posts that stick out from it that this thing kind of slides down onto. You put it over the post and then it slides down, and you know it's held on here super solid. So, you know, it's a Ford part. It's designed for this vehicle, so it fit onto the doghouse perfectly and gave us this little storage pouch down here, and then 4 cup holders for super coffee time. So if you, a lot of people have asked me about this. They're available from salvage yards. Go on eBay and look for it. And again, there's different styles of these, so maybe you can find one that you like more than another. This one has worked out really well for us. Really works good. My sunglasses go here in the middle pouch. My coffee usually goes here. My phone goes here. And then Lefty goes over here in this area. I'm back. I'm back. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, puppy. There we go. All right, so up above the new cup holder here is my stereo system. This is from a company called Joying, Joying, and it's an Android-based stereo. Because it's Android, it can put apps, you know. I mean, I've got Gmail, Amazon Prime, YouTube, Netflix, Spotify. Basically any app you can put on Android is on this thing. Navigation, you know, I use Google Maps for navigation, and a lot of folks have asked over the years when they see the screen, you know, this is the 3rd one of these we've had in the rig. The original one I bought, Joying updated that for me and sent me a new one, and then when they updated to this new, I guess it's a different processor, they sent me this one, and I've been happy to give the previous ones away to you folks. So I really love this thing. So if you're interested in one of these, go to joyingauto.com, JOYINGAUTO.com, and check them out. They've got all different sizes and styles, and they're really cool. I can't say enough good things about them. Up here, so this is our new dash cam. This one I just added. It's got an interior camera and then the front facing camera, and then also it has a backup camera that you can plug in. So this is a 3-camera system. I have it hardwired. You can see the wire going up here, and then it tucks behind and runs down the A-pillar right here. So we're going to try this on our next trip when we leave New York here soon, and we're going to see how it does capture in video for our trip. So look forward to that. This is the microphone for my stereo. You can, pair it to your phone and make and receive phone calls through the stereo here and through the speakers. So I've done that before. It's really cool to hear people's voices come blasting out of my stereo system. Besides these speakers up here, right up there, you can see I put a 12-inch speaker up in the ceiling back here, and in my cabinet, and we'll look at it when we get in the back, in my power cabinet right over here, there's 2 amplifiers. One of them runs these front speakers, and then the other amp runs the subwoofer back there. And those amps and the subwoofer were from my daughter's old car. So that was equipment I already had when we built the rig. So I just added it in here and reused it. Oh, I didn't mention this. I added this light when we did the headliner replacement. The old dome light that was in here was not great, factory dome light. So this one, cover your eyes. This one is bright, and I have it wired so it doesn't open with the doors like a factory one. I could have wired it that way. The factory wires are right up here. I just didn't want it turning on when we open the door, so I just have it by switch here to turn it on and off, and it's very bright. It really floods the compartment up here. And I think that's about it in the cab. I added a seat cushion from my bum. Really like that. Oh, down here, this is my Ampil start. This takes some of my solar system power, my house batteries, and uses it to maintain my cranking batteries. And this was a great addition. Unfortunately, this company is out of business. The gentleman that was the sole proprietor, I guess he passed away. So I don't think they sell these anymore. I know they stopped for a long time, and maybe they were going to restart selling them, but I'm not sure. I think they've shut down completely. But there's other products on the market, I think, that are comparable to this, but this was great. We sit sometimes 2-3 weeks when we're not running the rig, and this keeps the cranking batteries maintained with just like a trickle charge. Works really well. Really good addition. Any maintenance I've done up here? I had to replace this vent, but the one on the other side, I had to replace that one. It was broken when I got the truck. So I went on eBay, it was like 12 bucks, and bought a replacement one. Oh, steering wheel cover. One of you sent this to me a couple years back. One of the greatest things I added to this truck for comfort. Get yourself a steering wheel cover if your steering wheel is looking old and haggard. This really made the steering wheel feel 100 times better. And yes, my logo is coming apart. I hate that. And of course, we all know that I've replaced my blinker assembly 2 times because Lefty likes to chew this. And he has chewed this also. Can you see those teeth marks right there? I've come out to the truck before and the lights are on. He pulls that out when he's in here and I'm in doing something and he gets upset. He's also chewed this one. But this is the only one that had to be replaced. Oh, I also had to replace, when I got the truck, the overdrive off button didn't work. So I had to replace this stem assembly with the wires. It's a common failure on these systems that right down here at the pivot point, the wires that come down through the stem, they get pinched over time and they break. And that's exactly what had happened to mine. One of the wires right up in there had just gotten broken. So these are readily available. It was $25 for this assembly. Pretty easy to replace. You pop the covers off down here. And then I got my overdrive button to be operational. The first year plus, I was not able to turn off my overdrive. because this didn't work. So if your overdrive button does not work on these Ford vehicles with this style shifter, you most likely just need to replace this. And it's really an easy job. I would dare to say anyone could do it. It's really an easy job. And I do have a video on that from years back if you're interested. In fact, I'm pretty sure that everything I just talked about, there's videos covering all of it. You just got to find it. I think that's all that we've done up here. I may be forgetting something, but... Oh, yeah. So down here you see these various switches. This is my backup camera. So I'm able to turn on my backup camera anytime when we're driving. And I am so glad I wired it that way. You know, when we're on the expressway and you're merging or changing lanes, I just flip that on and my backup camera comes up on my big screen there. And I'm able to see really well behind us and kind of behind us on the sides too. It's a pretty wide angle camera back there. So backup camera. This is our LED running lights that are mounted in the bumper, the front bumper of the truck. There was a gap up there in the bumper when I removed the original ambulance sirens. There was like a cutout. So I added an LED light bar that fit up in that little nook. And this is the switch for it right here. And then this is my horn. If you have an ambulance, you may have found that your horn doesn't work anymore. Your regular, you know, beep beep horn. They wire these through their siren system so that when they push down on this, it activates the sirens like super siren, like when they come into a stoplight. So many times when you disconnect the siren system, you no longer have a horn. So I just wired in a different horn under the hood and ran it up here to a switch so that I could pass inspection. So this is just a temporary switch. You know, it springs back. Yeah, I think that's it. Really clean truck. This truck came from Arkansas originally, van, vehicle, whatever you want to call it. So no rust, really clean condition. I'm thankful for that. You know, the bottoms of the doors are really in perfect condition. You know, I can wipe this down with a wet paper towel and it looks factory brand new. So really happy that I got a good clean truck from down south. Okay, out here, this I had to replace. Obviously my shore power plug, the one that was on the rig when I got it, this cover was busted off. So this is a Leviton. These are easily available, really simple to switch out. If you need a different one, you can get them off of Amazon, easy to find. These mirrors I added, the original mirrors that were on the truck, you can see the mounting locations here. I added these bolts with some rubber washers under it just to cover the holes. They were those big chrome ones that came way out here. I didn't like the way they looked, to be honest with you. So these are like eBay specials. They're flexible. In case you bump into something, they can move. They're extendable. They go from in here to out here like I have them. You've got a zoomer lens here. To mount them, they weren't specifically for this vehicle. I think they were for, I don't know, 2003 and up or something, I forget. They have 4 mounting posts that stick through the door frame. And then you put big washers and nuts on them. I had to drill out those holes and I removed one of the posts because there was no hole or there wasn't an area to put the 4th post through. I can't quite remember. So I'm using 3 of the 4 posts that came with the mirror to keep it mounted. And actually what I did, the posts were so long that they stuck through here with this cover off. And they were so long I couldn't get the cover back on. And so for like, I don't know, 2 years, I didn't have these covers on because I couldn't pop them back on there because of the mirror posts. And then I was here in New York and I said, you know what, let me fix that. And thankfully I had kept these. They were under my bed in the cabinet. So I got out my Dremel tool and just chopped off the extra length of the posts that mounted the mirror, and bam, lo and behold, I was able to pop these 2 covers back on. And like as soon as I did it, I'm like, man, why didn't I do this years ago? It looks so much better. it looked very unfinished with the raw door skin underneath there. I added these just out of vanity, Power Stroke Turbo Diesel V8. Those are eBay special stick-ons. One of these days, they've really sun faded. Like this used to be dark black in here. They've really sun faded, but I'm gonna leave them. I like them. Up top here in the front, this is my WeBoost outside antenna for the cell signal booster. Does the WeBoost work? Yes, the WeBoost works. It takes 1 bar and gives you 2 or 3 bars. It takes 2 bars and gives you 3 or 4 bars. It won't make a signal where there isn't one, but it'll take a weak signal and make it stronger. That's how the WeBoost works. So that cable goes inside. There's the unit, which is up in my cabinet up front, mounted up against the wall. It's 12 volt powered. This cable plugs into it. Then it has another inside antenna that plugs into it that I have mounted kind of right up next to that subwoofer we saw. So that gives me a boosted signal, cell signal inside of the rig. And then up here what you're seeing, that's where my solar panel wiring goes inside the rig. So the wires come from the top there from the panels, and then they dip down and up into that gland. Now you always want to loop your cables down below where your hole is. You can see I did that same thing here, so that when water runs down the cable, it drips off down below the hole. If you had that cable coming down from the roof and right into the hole, water would run down the cable and inside the hole. That's why I've done it like that. So always loop your wiring down below the actual opening where it goes into the vehicle. These yellow lights you see up here, those are called clearance lights. Those I replaced. The original ones were incandescent bulbs. These are LED powered with, you know, LED lights in them. So they use a lot less power, and it's kind of a, I don't know if you could say a brighter light, but it's faster. So ambulances and a lot of big trucks, they have clearance lights on them. They have ambers in the front, and then they have reds in the back. So I have reds that are on the rear side and along the rear, the top of the rear, and then these amber ones up front. So I replaced all of those on a 95-degree day here in New York. And there's a video on that too. These panels you're seeing here, this is where there used to be emergency lights, like red lights for flashing. These are just pieces of ABS plastic. I ordered these from a company. I bought a full sheet of plastic, and they will cut it to your spec. So I had them cut, I forget what size it is, 7 by 9 or something like that. I had them cut them down and send them to me pre-cut. And then all I did was I kind of rounded the corners and then drilled the holes to use the original mounting holes where the lights mounted. And then I put some sealant on the back side of them and stuck them up there. So behind those are pretty big size holes where the original lights like this style, but red colored, and on the rear yellow colored. So that's what all these panels are. And I spray painted them myself, so they're not the exact same color. That's why you're seeing a color difference. They've faded differently than the automotive paint that's on the rig. That was just a spray can I used. All right, we'll look in the cabinets here. So this cabinet houses, normally my 20-pound propane tank sits right here. I take it out when we're here in New York and just throw it in the garage. So that's plumbed. It has a splitter on it. One of the hoses goes right here to this water heater. And then the other hose, that goes inside to my oven and stove. So water heater here, this is propane powered, self-igniting. So my door has to be open when I run that because of the heat exhaust that goes out the top. This gets activated, it's got an auto igniter on it. So as soon as it feels pressure, water pressure, it and auto ignites the gas. So you flip a switch to the on position, and then when I fire up the pump that feeds it, it will automatically fire up. This is adjustable. You've got summer and winter mode. when you put it in winter mode, it turns on all of its burners, and when it's in summer mode, it turns off some of the burners because it doesn't need so much power. And this thing, I shouldn't have gotten one that's so strong. It makes hot water, and I mean it makes hot water. You can see how low that I have this set to. I'm usually running it way down here at the lower end because it really heats up the water. So if you're getting one of these, get one that's lower rated than that. They don't need to be this big, this strong. It works. It's worked for us for years. It takes a couple of either C or D batteries in here, and those power the igniter and this little display right here. The way I have this, the water out goes right to this shower head right here. So when I have my shower tent set up outside the rig, I run this hose out and right into the top of the tent with this shower head, and it works beautiful. I love taking outdoor showers with warm water. There's just something about that feeling of being able to get yourself clean and fresh feeling when you're out camped. I love doing that. It feels awesome. You may have noticed I have 2 water pumps. So this water pump is just for the water heater, and then this water pump is for my sink, my inside sink. Now this one here I have connected up to this wireless switch. This is just a standard 12-volt wireless switch that has a remote control. So you can wire anything through here that you want to be switched with a remote. So when I'm in the shower, I have the remote control hanging in the shower tent on a little strap over there. And when I, got soap in my eyes or something and I got to turn the water on real quick, I hit that button. It fires up the pump, the heater ignites immediately and starts pushing water on me again. So the wireless thing, that was just my way of solving the issue of stopping and starting the water when you're in the shower, because that's something that you do when you're showering and you're trying to control your water usage. You want to be able to stop and start your water easily when you're in the shower tent. And that's how I do it with that little device. And then down here, these are my 2 water tanks. They're 16 gallons each. One of them feeds my sink and one of them feeds my shower, my heater in my shower. And what I've done before is if I need some of the water for my inside tank, I'll take the shower head off, stick this hose in the other tank, and just pump this tank into the other one. So it's like having 32 gallons for my inside tank, because I can always just pump this one over. And I do it quite a bit. When I have water here and I need some, I just pump it into the other tank. Okay, and these cabinets, you're all familiar with these. This is where my electrical system, my main components are housed. So we have the 4 Litime 200 amp hour 12 volt batteries. So we have 800 amp hours at 12 volts down here. Here's my Ames Power inverter. This is a 3000 watt inverter charger. So what that means is if I have like my generator plugged into shore power or anything plugged into shore power, and you turn this on, this will charge the batteries in addition to supplying the AC power for the inside of the rig. So this is different than a normal inverter. It's an inverter charger. So if you want shore power capability in your ambulance, you're going to want to put in an inverter charger, and oh boy, yes, we need to dust in here. This is a heavy duty unit. This thing weighs probably 65 pounds, 3000 watt, 9000 watt peak. It's a beast. It really is. It might be overkill for what I use it for, but it's never let me down. It operates perfectly. It has a remote panel inside that I operate it from. So the Ames Power has worked well for us. It's a big heavy unit. So the AC wiring from the shore power plug comes in here after going through the breaker box, and then the output AC goes back out of here and inside the rig. So here's our solar charge controller. This is the EP Ever Tracer. This is a 100 amp, so it's a big one. That's a very large charge controller. We have just under 1200 watts of solar at 12 volts, so we needed a big 100 amp charge controller, so that takes up a good chunk of space in here. So those are the main components. This is obviously the wiring for everything that we did last summer. If you were here with us, everything's fused, breakers, shut off. monster fuse there, bus bars for everything. So that install that we did last summer, everything came out perfect. Thank you all for struggling through it with me. In hindsight, it was a lot of fun. It just took me a minute to get my head around it and get it done the way I wanted, and I'm really happy with this. I'm happy with the way it operates and that it's nice and clean install there. So up here, this is a fan I installed. It's actually a bilge fan for boating. And this I used to blow warm air out into this cabinet. So if we're camped and it's getting really, really cold and I've got the heater running inside and I'm concerned about my batteries getting cold, I click this on. I have a variable speed switch inside so I can run it, you know, as slow or as fast as I want. And I'm able to run it at a pretty low setting constantly all night. It blows warm air out here and it keeps the cabinet 40, 45, 50 degrees depending on what the temperature outside is. So not the most glamorous solution. It's what I came up with, and will I have it forever? Probably not, but it's what I have right now. We don't get in that situation a lot with the cold nights, so someday I'll come up with something more glamorous than that, but it works for us now. All right, out here in this cabinet, you know, everything's emptied out, obviously. This is our air conditioning system. This is, I think it's a GE. It's a 5,000 BTU regular window air conditioner that I mounted in here. So, yes, the door does have to be open when the air conditioner runs. That's just the way it is. Is it the best solution? Probably not. It's what we have and it's worked for us. I don't have to use it a lot, so it's not usually a big deal to leave the door open. Fire extinguisher, oh, that reminds me, there's a fire extinguisher in the cab too, I failed to mention. It's right behind the driver's seat. And then we have a third one that's right inside the side door. So that's it for this cabinet. Tool storage down here, that shelf I added. Somebody's talking to me over here. What's up? What you doing? I'm just talking to the camera, buddy. Okay. 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 Okay, around back, what did we do? Okay, I added these extra lights here because when the motorcycle is loaded, you can't see these very well, the regular tail lights. So I added these second lights. These were just Amazon. They're not the greatest. If I had to do it over again, I'd get some that are better quality. Oh, look at that. I'm just noticing there's a crack there. So these are going to have to be replaced at some point. At least the wiring is already done because, man, I had to tap into the wires down here and then fish them up through the wall. And then there was there already a hole here or did I drill a hole? No, I had to drill the holes. I used this opening here where the lights were to reach down in there. And then these had post mount on the back, so I had to get down in there with a washer and a nut times 4 times. Oh my gosh, that was a whole entire day. I remember there was like a nurse's aide that was working with someone down the street here, and they were kind of seeing me out here all day, and the guy came down. He said, "Man, you are dedicated." He goes, "That looked like a job." You know, it was a hot day. I had lengths of wire out here that I had coiled and then Tessa taped the whole length of it that went up in there. It was a heck of a job, but we got her done. There's my backup camera. Simple backup camera. The wire runs up front to the head unit, the stereo. And again, these clearance lights, those are all the replacement ones I put on, the LEDs. This is the mount for my gas can that mounts right on the back here. And I think that's it for the back side. We've got this trailer hitch I had fabricated and then installed on the rig. This is a custom hitch. I had a guy that, local guy, I had gone to like the U-Haul that does trailer hitches up here in Henrietta, and they were like, "No, we can't do it for that vehicle, but here's a guy that we know that very well may do it for you." So I contacted that guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I can take care of it." So I dropped off the truck to him one day, picked it up the next day, and it was done. So he made this to size. It's all welded to the frame of the truck. He did a beautiful job. That was 5 years ago. Over 5 years ago now, a little over 5 years ago. The thing is held up perfect. You know, we've carried the bike carrier with a motorcycle for, you know, not every mile we've driven, but I'm going to say in the 60,000 mile range, we've driven with a motorcycle in a carrier connected into this trailer hitch, and it's been flawless. He did a really good job. I should get up here and throw some paint on this thing, scuff sand it and paint it. It's showing some signs of getting a little bit of surface rust on it. Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the project list. These carabiners that I have hanging back here on these little stops, this is what I hook Lefty's leash to when we're camped. Just a simple way to anchor him because he's strong, but he can't pull this vehicle. This one is still full because I got a lot of stuff stuffed in here. This is my shower tent, obviously. So I have a lot of like Lefty's toys, bungee cords. I have a set of chains for the rear wheels. This is my spare, obviously. Just a lot of extra stuff. That's my new Temu fold-out table right there. That's staying with us. So a lot of just stuff. There's a pair of jumper cables. There's a 6-ton bottle jack. A lot of stuff, utilitarian. I just was thinking a couple nights ago that I need to empty this all out and make sure there's nothing in here that I don't want to get rid of and stop carrying. There's motorcycle locks in there, just all kinds of stuff. So that one's usually packed pretty full, just like that. There you can see the exhaust pipe for our diesel heater poking through right here. So I have the diesel heater mounted right up under my bed, so it's kind of right up about here in this area inside there. There's our, like, what, 4th shoe rack. And this is Lefty's Buffalo Bill harness. So it's waiting for football season because I don't know if you heard in the news, but the Bills are going all the way this year. Yeah. This used to open into a cabinet that was the corner cabinet, and it was the cabinet that has interior and exterior access. So my second crank battery is down here, and then this used to go into the interior cabinet. And when I got rid of that corner cabinet, this is just the back side of the wall that's up there now. And this cabinet, this is where our gas generator sits. It fits in there like it's made for it. And then here I have 2 milk crates with fluids, oils, all kinds of stuff, you know, all garage type stuff. And same thing up here. I've actually changed up a little bit. I got rid of one of the milk crates. I was able to consolidate. So now instead of 4 milk crates, and they're the deep milk crates. So they go from right here all the way to the back wall. I kid you not, like they were made right for this cabinet. They fit in there so perfect. So now I'm only going to have 3 of them. So I'm thinking that some of my tools from that outside cabinet where my AC is, those tool trays, can now come up and be put in this cabinet, which brings the weight forward instead of being out behind the rear wheels. So I'm going to toy with that when I pack us up here in a few days. So this one right now, totally empty, and it's all tool storage, generator storage. That's my starting instructions from my original generator, my Wen. I laminated them and stuck them up there, and I don't know why. That was so long ago. I don't have that generator anymore. I think that's it for the outside. I may have missed something, but I don't think so. I think we got it all. We've done the cab. We've done the outside. Now we'll do the inside. We'll take a look at what's going on in here. I'm going to try to cover everything. There's a lot of stuff in here going on. So I'll start just visually what I'm looking at. And I'm not going to really talk about cosmetic stuff because that's neither here nor there. So obviously, 32-inch TV up there, a Vizio. It's mounted on a swing mount, so it can swing out. You can see the base of the mount there, so it has an arm that goes behind the TV and lets the TV swing out so that I can gain access to this cabinet back here. I don't keep a lot in here. So that's the Wii Boost right there, and then the backside of the subwoofer is up in here, and my Android TV box, which is right there, which is connected to the TV. So I'm running Android TV on this television. I usually get in here because that's where I keep my laundry pods and my dryer sheets and my fold-out laundry basket right there in that little bag right there. And I did mention the amps that I have for the speaker system. So there's the 2 amps. That amp runs the speakers up in the cab, and then that JBL runs the subwoofer. So this is the power cabinet. It might look like a big wiring nightmare, but it's all pretty straightforward. I have a lot of items that feed off that bus bar right there. So all my 12-volt items get their power from in here, from that bus bar right there. A lot of this has been disconnected by me, the original ambulance gear. And here's my sticker wall where I keep stickers from things that I buy and people that I visit and people that send me stickers. We were there. Solar Team 3. My LitTime batteries. Yeah, there's our Boom Boom subwoofer, and there's the Wii Boost antenna for the inside. Hey, enough. So this is a little slide curtain that blocks off the cab for privacy, and also when we're driving, it keeps the air conditioning feeling better up there instead of trying to air condition the whole box back here. A little cabinet I added for clothing. We all know Lefty has bent this door off 2 times that I've had to re-glue it. And this is also for clothing, this little bin that I put right here. It's attached to the wall with a little knob system that I installed on there so it can't slide around. A couple of shelves that I added here. You remember there used to be originally, there was a cabinet that came out here and went from floor to ceiling, took up a lot of space. So got that removed, added a couple of shelves, put this Iceco refrigerator over here, and then I've got my Robson freezer over there. 60 quart fridge, 55 quart freezer. Once I got both of them up and running, that was a huge improvement, having way more room to store food, way better. Because any of you that have lived out in a vehicle, you know food storage is a thing, and having space. Having a freezer was a real game changer. Being able to freeze meat, you know, buy a bunch of meat when we're in town, freeze it, and then take it out as needed. Huge improvement having a separate freezer. So part of the stereo system, these clip speakers that I added. So these are also run off of that amp that runs the front cab speakers. That's a 4-channel amp. So I have 2 channels running the cab speakers, and the other 2 channels run these speakers back here. And I have a switch right up there on the wall, the one to the right, that flips the amp on. So when I'm back here, when I watch TV, click, I flip on the amp, turn the TV on, and I've got subwoofer. The subwoofer has 2 inputs. So one of the inputs is from the TV here, and the other input is from my stereo up in the cab. So I'm using both amps, whether I'm in the cab or if I'm back here watching movies. So I have, you know, I call it movie sound. It's pretty good sound for living inside of an old ambulance. It's pretty good. So other main things, I added this sink here, obviously. This was my attempt at building a cabinet. It's not great, but it does the job. I have a faucet here with an electric switch. This switch is on one of those pumps you saw out in the outside cabinet, and we get water here into the sink. I just have it going into this. This is like a 5-gallon wastewater container, and yes, it does need a cleaning out. I clean it out like every month or so. It just starts to get a little buildup in there, so it's due for a cleaning. And when we're out camped, I don't have to empty this maybe once a week, if that, because we don't use a ton of water through the sink. And I don't wash a lot of foods down the sink either. I don't want there to be a lot of food stuff in here. So next to the sink here is this flip-up table that I added. So this flip-up table, this is the second version. The original version was smaller than this, but when I added the sink, I wanted one that was going to fill this gap, and I started using this like for my laptop work when I'm editing videos. This is where I eat my meals, because I usually am watching something up there while I'm eating my meal, because I'm a child inside. So obviously the backsplash, the countertops, those were all added 5+ years ago. And I've got this metallic heat resistant one that's around the stove. You saw in a recent video I extended it up to the roof, so that's all finished up. I got a microwave up here. I added this shelf and added this microwave. I don't use it much, and I'm on the fence about whether I'm going to be keeping it. It's not hurting anything being there, but that's a lot of space to be using up for something that I don't use a lot of times. So that may go away at some point just because it doesn't get used a lot. And there's the air conditioner I showed you all out in the cabinet. That's where it comes inside. In hindsight, if I was mounting an air conditioner again, I would want it higher up. When I run the AC, I have to run my fan and keep pushing the air down to the air conditioner. If I don't, it like super cools this area right around here, but the air that's down at this end isn't getting circulated. So the cabinets are the original cabinets, both of those with no changes made to them. The only change down here, and we talked about this, I put the shelf back in. The shelf was missing and it holds my frying pans. And now I've got these sprung bars that go across to keep the frying pans from falling off. So that's the only like modification I did to these cabinets. And same thing with this cabinet up here. This is all original, no changes made to it. That's where I keep my bedding, my bath towels, kitchen towels, all that kind of stuff. And then up here, this is a lot of gloves and hats, some books, some pistols. These are Lefty's cleaning wipes that I use on him to keep him spiffy and shiny. Just some simple coat hooks up here for my jackets, my backpack, my hats, my headlight. If I'm walking outside at night, sometimes I throw this on just so I can see where I'm going, because it can get very, very dark out in the wild when you're away from cities. Very dark if there's no moon. Electrical panels up here. So this switch here turns on the amplifiers for the sound. This switch here turns on my blinking rodent lights that are under the rig. And this switch here turns on my LED lights, my under-counter LED lights that are up here. So simple switches, illuminated when they're on, so I know they're on. This is my Victron battery monitor, so I can monitor the state of charge of my batteries. This is my charge controller, the solar charge controller, so I can monitor what the batteries are at, the incoming power amount, what the charge amount is. And then this is for the inverter charger, the Ames power. This controls, this is how I turn it on and off and monitor its operation right here. And these were original on this area, these switches here. And this little chunk of a switch panel, you can see how it's kind of cut off there, the wording. This was part of the switch panel that was built into that big wooden cabinet that was up there. It was a large panel, quite a bit bigger than this, with a bunch of different switches, but I only needed this set of switches. These are the outside scene lights, and this is the main power switch that turns on all of these switches. So I only needed this small chunk, so I cut it from the larger piece, kind of rounded the corners and made it look real, and then cut a hole and mounted it right up in there. And here's the switch from my bilge fan. So variable speed, and it's right down there. This is where all my camera batteries go. Different electronics hang here. That's my key rack and pouch, so flashlights, pens, markers, and then all my keys are hanging over there. All of these outlets that are on the wall here, all of these I added, you know, the original AC outlet panels, like that one right there, and there's another one right there. I swapped them with these modern ones, I guess you'd call it, that have USB ports on them also. So I did that many years ago, actually 5 years ago when we first built the rig. I just replaced the original ones with these. And then up here, this is a USB panel, so you got 4 USB A's, and then here I've got a double 12-volt cigarette lighter style. I've got 2 of those that I added. And then down there, I added that one 5 years ago, and it's just 2 USB A's with a voltage readout, and it is the most inaccurate voltage readout that I've ever seen. It's typically a 0.5 volt wrong. So I could replace that with something that's a little more functional and get rid of that thing. I probably should just add another like 4 bank like that there, so at least it's usable. And then there's my clock, thank you Leanne, that I just added recently. This is where I hang my motorcycle helmet. This is a helmet mount I screwed in, and my cedar broom with the broom holder. And if you saw when we were over at Dalen's cleaning her garage, she found the box that I had given her with like 3 of these in it, because I think I ordered, came like 5 in a box, and I only kept 2 of them. And I gave the rest to her, and as we were cleaning her garage, she found them, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, look, you gave me these." So I put one of these on her garage wall and stuck her broom in it. That's when I said, "Oh, Dads are awesome," because I gave that to her. Paper towel holder, that's exciting. I've got this light here. I turn this on if I'm laying in bed reading. It's a really nice little LED light strip. One of you sent that to me, and I can't think of who off the top of my head, but thank you. This shelf right here is where my little speaker goes. That's for my nighttime screen right here. Someone sent this to me. Thank you for that. I'm sorry that so many names over so much time I can't recall. And this is my coffee cup holder, and I believe that someone sent me a pair of these. Thank you again. You know, all these little pieces that have added up over time to building out this rig that have come from a lot of you. Thank you so much. I'm very appreciative and very humbled by all of the support that all of you have shown us. I probably wouldn't have gotten all of these things for us, and I don't know what condition the rig would be in if I was just on my own. So thank you all very much for this. Continuing on. So this is my nighttime screen. I think this is like a 13-inch screen, and I have a little Android TV stick. It's one of those Walmart brand, ONN, that runs Android TV. So at night, you know, watch videos as I'm falling asleep. And this USB outlet that I added keeps the speaker charged up and this light charged up. And this is my temperature monitor. So this monitor is indoors, so inside the rig, and then the remote sensor is actually right down in between the batteries. So it's monitoring the temperature of the batteries. So that's really key. I believe that a gentleman named Tom sent me this some years ago. So thank you for that, Tom. And then here we've got a carbon monoxide detector. This is the controller for our diesel heater. I mentioned that the diesel heater is installed up under my bed. Here's the outlet for it. And I put this vent here. This is how it draws in its intake air, reheats it, and shoots it back out of this. So the heater is right on the other side of this wall right here, right up under the bed. And there's the other fire extinguisher that's back here. So I have 3 fire extinguishers. Here, have one right up in front, basically right behind where Lefty's laying. And then the other one that was in this outside cabinet back here with the air conditioner. So we have 3 of them on board. Yeah, so that's diesel heater. This is the remote control for the Max Air fan, which is right up here. So you can hit the remote, it opens up the cover and starts blowing the fan. It's the Max Air. It's got the rain cover over it, so it's a good product. That's been with us for 5 years, still running strong. The bed here, so this is the stock, this cabinet was in here, so I added this slide slat bed. I don't know if you all saw me build this 2 summers ago. I used this really thin tongue and groove planking for it. It's worked fine. And I have 3 flip down legs on some locking hinges So they swing down and then snap into position. We haven't had any issues with it. It's worked in really humid areas and in really dry areas. Yeah, for pure comfort, I decided with a carpet. So we've been running with a carpet on here. I think this is the third carpet in 5 years that we've had. They're very inexpensive. These are like $29. I get them from esalerugs.com. It's just there's a million websites to buy carpeting. I go on there and I click on like their clearance page and buy the cheap ones. It's got a layer of padding under it also. And this really, when it's cold out and you step on this floor, your feet get cold. So this really helps. And with Lefty, I wanted him to have a comfortable place to lay. So I'm able to walk around in here in my sock feet. I carry a vacuum cleaner, so I vacuum it periodically. Really, really good idea as far as keeping your feet comfortable. And it feels more homey with a piece of carpet. So I figure this is like the entranceway kitchen with no covering. And then this is the living room bedroom with a carpeting. I like it like this. So here we have my Camp Chef stove oven combo. This is what they call their deluxe. I'm not sure of the difference. I think both of their models have the temperature gauge here. So little oven, I was able to finally find a pan that fits in here. This is a KitchenAid 9x13 pan. So if you've got a Camp Chef, KitchenAid makes a 9x13 that fits in there perfect. So this has worked really well for us. It's a 2-burner propane up here, and then the oven can go up to 410 degrees, I think it is. Has worked really well. I mounted it, this hole was here. This used to be a little a bench seat with a flip-up cushion, and under the cushion was this hole down into just a really small storage area. So this is sitting right on. It's actually the box that's over the wheel arches over here on this side. So it fit in this hole kind of like it was made for it. I mean, look at that width. It was perfect. So this is able to open all the way. It's metal edged and it's metal underneath. So this isn't like touching anything hot. And the way this is constructed, it's double walled. So whatever this is touching is not getting the full heat of the oven, and I have metal surround around the whole thing. So I'm comfortable with that. And it's, we've been using it for years. It's been fine. Got a little damage. I think the chair tipped over once and put a good knocker on that and like dented it and chipped it. Kind of crazy. We're living in a truck, so things are not perfect. I have to remind us at times, when I think of all of this stuff in context, right? We're living in an old ambulance. So these things, while they're not perfect, we're living in a vehicle. So it's, how much can you really complain? Well, I hope you all enjoyed that look around. This was really good for me to get a look at everything, to remember all of the stuff and all of the work and, like why I did stuff and searching for comfort and seeing all the things that y'all sent us, the pieces that have put all this together and all added up to where we're at today. And for living in an old vehicle, it's very comfortable. And that's what I've always pushed, is to just be comfortable. Like when I want to come in here and sit down and relax, I want to be comfortable. And I've got that. I've got my essentials around us. We can eat, drink, sleep. We can have media entertainment. We can have some fun. We can listen to music. All of that stuff. We have all of that, And we're in a 22-year-old ambulance. So. Thanks all for being here and taking a look around the rig with me. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care, be safe. We'll see y'all again really soon. And don't forget to get your entry in for that Storm RC truck. Is that what we decided? S-T-O-R-M? Yeah, Storm. Put it down in your comment. Come back on the 31st to see if you won. I think I got all that right. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen here. Hey, Left. Come on. Come on, buddy. You're coming with me. Okay. Just looking. I asked Harry when he did the brake work. So he had to refill some of the rear end fluid that came out when he had the axles out. So oh, there you are. Sorry. So I asked him to seal my drain plug on the differential because it had been seeping. You know, we did that work 2 years ago and it wasn't dripping. It was just seeping from the drain plug, or the fill plug I should call it, on the back differential cover. So it was just a little wet around there. And in the past, before we did that work, that cover was bone dry. So that fill plug was perfectly sealed before. So I asked him when he did that to put some sealant on the threads, and he did. I'm just looking at it, and he cleaned the cover. So I'm just going to watch it and make sure that it's sealed up good, but it looks really nice. I can see the thread sealant on there. And that was so comfortable. Paul and Nancy, I think you sent me this. That was the most comfortable laying down under my rig that I've ever done. You can barely see it. It looks just like the driveway. This is a product that I think is designed for, from what the little tag said in the box, like for your vehicle, like in the back of your vehicle in the cargo area. I think their idea was, because you saw me laying on those pieces of foam. So look at this. It folds in half. It's hinged, and this side this is the same kind of carpet you have in the back of your car, like in your hatch area. This kind of automotive grade carpeting. That was so comfortable. This is squishy foam. So this showed up. They said they had sent me something. So Paul and Nancy, if this is from you, thank you very much. That was very comfortable, and I'm pretty sure that's why you sent it to me. It works perfect. That was really cushy on my bum. And thanks, Harry, for putting the sealant on the drain plug. It looks good. And speaking of, the work he did under there, like I can see, you know, anti-seize on bolts and grease on the sliders. And so if you want a job done right, you take it to I'm going to call you a professional, Harry, okay? You take it to a professional and you get it done right. And yeah, granted, it wasn't done in the Ford shop, but it's the same work, and he did a really good job. The brakes are awesome. The ride is very smooth. I think I mentioned this. When I'm on a smooth road, so I must have had, like, not a bad bearing, but you know, the bearings were old. So we got all new wheel bearings, and you can feel it when you're riding down the road. It's smooth. It's smooth now. So he did a really good job.